Hey Taurus, I just had to sit down and share this reading with you because the energy coming through right now is absolutely incredible. You know that feeling when the universe finally makes sense? That's exactly what happened. So I'm here with my deck, and I can already feel this powerful energy of transformation and self-worth radiating from the cards. There's something so profound happening in your world right now, Taurus, and it's all about you finally recognizing your true value. You've been on this journey of understanding what you deserve, and honestly, it's been beautiful to witness through the cards. Let me just say, up front, this reading is going to be different. The cards are showing me a story of someone who has finally had enough. Someone who looked in the mirror and said, I deserve better than this. And that someone is you, dear Taurus. You're about to give someone the cold shoulder who absolutely deserves it, and the lesson they're going to learn will change everything. I'm going to take you through exactly what the cards are revealing about this situation. We're going to explore how your high self-worth is becoming your superpower, how someone who didn't value you is about to face the reality of losing you, and what this transformation means for your future. Trust me, you're going to want to hear every single detail of what's coming through. The first card I pulled is Strength. And oh my goodness, Taurus, this is so perfect for where you are right now. You know, strength isn't about roaring like a lion or flexing your muscles. It's about that quiet, unshakable confidence that comes from truly knowing who you are. And that's exactly what you've developed over these past months. I'm seeing you in this energy where you finally stopped making excuses for people who don't appreciate you. There was a time when you would bend over backwards, accommodate, and give chance after chance to someone who clearly wasn't matching your energy. But something shifted in you, didn't it? You woke up one day and realized that your kindness was being taken for granted, your loyalty was being exploited, and your love was being treated as if it was disposable. Strength is showing me that you've found this inner fortitude that's unbreakable. You're not angry in a destructive way. You're calm, centered, and absolutely certain about what you will and won't accept anymore. This person who didn't value you is about to experience what it feels like when a Taurus decides they're done. And honey, when a Taurus is done, they're done. The beautiful thing about this strength energy is that it's not coming from a place of revenge or bitterness. It's coming from pure self-love. You finally understood that protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's necessary. You've learned that saying no to what doesn't serve you is actually saying yes to what does. This cold shoulder you're about to give isn't cruel. It's self-preservation at its finest. I'm seeing this person who took you for granted suddenly realizing they can't reach you anymore. Your phone calls go unanswered, your text messages are left unread, and when they try to get your attention, they're met with polite but distant responses. They're going to feel the absence of your warmth like a physical ache, and that's when the lesson begins. Moving into the second card, I pulled the King of Pentacles, and wow, this is speaking directly to your evolution, Taurus. The King of Pentacles represents mastery, abundance, and most importantly, knowing your worth in every sense of the word. You've graduated from being someone who gives their energy away freely to someone who understands the value of their presence. This card is showing me that you've reached this level of self-respect that's actually quite rare. You understand now that your time, your attention, your emotional energy, these are precious resources. You wouldn't give away your money to someone who disrespects you, so why would you give away your heart, your care, your investment in someone who doesn't appreciate it? The King of Pentacles energy is all about boundaries, Taurus. Not walls, but healthy boundaries that protect your kingdom while still allowing the right people in. You've become the ruler of your own life, and that means you get to decide who deserves access to you. This person who didn't value you, they're about to find out they've lost their VIP pass to your world. I'm getting this vision of you in your power, living your life beautifully, focusing on your goals, investing in relationships that actually nourish you. Meanwhile, this other person is looking at your social media, hearing about you through mutual friends, and slowly realizing what they had and what they threw away. The King of Pentacles doesn't chase, they attract. And you're about to become magnetic to everyone except the one person who had you and didn't cherish you. The lesson they're going to learn is harsh, but necessary. They're going to understand that quality people don't stick around when they're not valued. They're going to realize that your kindness wasn't weakness. It was a gift they were too immature to appreciate. And now that gift has been withdrawn, they're going to feel the cold reality of their choices. The third card that came through is the Five of Wands. And this is so interesting because it's revealing the internal conflict this person is about to experience. While you're standing in your power, calm and centered, they're going to be fighting battles in their own mind. They're going to be wrestling with regret, confusion, and the desperate need to get back into your good graces. Five of Wands shows conflict and competition, but in this case, the conflict is entirely within them. They're going to be arguing with themselves about whether they should reach out, whether they should apologize, whether they should try to explain their behavior. Meanwhile, you're over here living your best life, completely unbothered by their internal chaos. This card is showing me that they're going to try different approaches to get your attention back. Maybe they'll reach out through friends. Maybe they'll show up places they know you'll be. Maybe they'll post things on social media hoping you'll respond. But here's the beautiful thing, Taurus. You're not going to bite. Your strength energy is keeping you centered. Your King of Pentacles wisdom is keeping you focused on what truly matters, and their desperate attempts to reconnect are going to fall flat. The Five of Wands represents the storm they're creating while you remain the eye of the hurricane, completely calm and unmoved. They're going to exhaust themselves trying to get back to where they used to be with you, not realizing that bridge has been burned not out of anger, but out of self-respect. You've evolved beyond the need for their validation or attention. I'm seeing them reaching out to mutual friends asking about you, trying to understand why you've become so distant. And those friends are going to tell them the truth, that you've simply outgrown relationships that don't serve you. You're not talking badly about them. You're not seeking revenge. You're just done. And that quiet dismissal is going to hit them harder than any argument ever could. The fourth card is absolutely perfect. It's the Magician. And this is all about your power to manifest exactly what you want in your life. The Magician has all the tools they need to create their reality, and that's exactly where you are right now, Taurus. You've realized that you have the power to choose who gets to be part of your story. The Magician energy is showing me that this cold shoulder isn't just about withdrawing from someone who didn't value you. It's about consciously creating space for people who will. You're not just saying no to what you don't want, you're actively manifesting what you do want. Better relationships, deeper connections, people who match your energy and appreciate your heart. This card is revealing that your high self-worth has become like a magic wand. Every boundary you set, every standard you maintain, every time you choose yourself over someone else's comfort, you're literally conjuring a better life into existence. The person who didn't value you is watching this transformation happen from the outside, and they're beginning to understand the magnitude of what they lost. The Magician shows that you have all four elements at your disposal now. You have the passion of fire to pursue what lights you up, the emotional intelligence of water to trust your feelings, the mental clarity of air to see situations for what they really are, and the grounding energy of earth to stay committed to your growth. This person who took you for granted only knew the version of you that was giving everything away. They have no idea how powerful you've become. I'm seeing them trying to reach you and suddenly realizing they don't know how to connect with this new version of you. The old buttons they used to push don't work anymore. The old manipulation tactics bounce right off your newfound confidence. You've literally transformed yourself into someone they can't access. And that's the most powerful magic of all. The fifth card that came through is the Knight of Swords, and this represents the swift, decisive action you've taken to protect your peace. Knights are action-oriented, and the sword suit is all about mental clarity and cutting through illusions. This card is showing me that your decision to give this person the cold shoulder wasn't emotional or impulsive. It was strategic and necessary. The Knight of Swords energy reveals that you've cut through all the excuses, all the justifications, all the maybe they'll change thoughts that used to keep you stuck in situations that weren't serving you. You saw the truth of how you were being treated, and you took swift action to remove yourself from that dynamic. No drama, no long explanations, just a clean cut and a move towards something better. This card is particularly powerful because it shows that your cold shoulder approach isn't passive-aggressive. It's actively protective. You're not trying to hurt them. You're trying to preserve yourself. You've realized that sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is to stop enabling their poor behavior by being available for it. The Knight of Swords is also showing me that this decision has given you this incredible mental clarity. Once you stopped pouring your energy into someone who didn't appreciate it, you suddenly had all this mental and emotional bandwidth available for better things. You can think clearly about what you want, you can focus on your goals, you can invest in relationships that actually add value to your life. This person who didn't value you is going to be shocked by how quickly and completely you've moved on. They probably expected you to fight for their attention, to try to win them back, to make yourself smaller, to accommodate their lack of appreciation. Instead, you've shown them what it looks like when someone with high self-worth decides you're no longer worth their time. The sixth card is the Three of Pentacles, and this is beautiful because it's showing me the collaborative, supportive relationships you're attracting now that you've cleared out the energy drain of someone who didn't value you. Three of Pentacles is about teamwork, mutual respect, and building something meaningful together with people who appreciate what you bring to the table. This card is revealing that your high self-worth is attracting people who actually deserve you. While this other person is sitting in their regret, you're building beautiful connections with people who see your value immediately and never take it for granted. You're collaborating with friends who celebrate your wins, working with colleagues who respect your contributions, and opening yourself up to romantic connections that are based on mutual appreciation. The Three of Pentacles shows that you've learned the difference between giving your energy to someone who drains it and sharing your energy with people who amplify it. The contrast is going to be stark for this person watching from the outside. They're going to see you thriving in relationships where you're valued, laughing with people who get your humor, achieving things with people who support your dreams, and they're going to realize what they could have had if they had just appreciated what was right in front of them. This card also represents the lesson this person is learning about collaboration versus taking advantage. They thought they could benefit from your kindness, your support, your love, without giving anything meaningful back. Now they're seeing you in environments where there's mutual respect and reciprocity, and they understand that their one-sided approach to relationships doesn't work with people who know their worth. I'm getting this image of them seeing you succeed in areas where they tried to hold you back, seeing you celebrated by people who genuinely appreciate you, and finally understanding that their lack of appreciation wasn't just hurtful to you, it was a massive loss for them. The seventh card is absolutely perfect for this reading. It's the Knight of Cups, and this represents the emotional journey you've been on to reach this level of self-respect. The Knight of Cups is passionate but not reckless, romantic but not naive, and that's exactly the energy you're embodying as you navigate this situation. This card is showing me that your decision to give the cold shoulder comes from a place of emotional intelligence, not emotional reactivity. You've processed your feelings, you've understood the patterns, and you've made a conscious choice to honor your emotional well-being by stepping away from someone who consistently disregarded it. The Knight of Cups reveals that you haven't hardened your heart. You've just learned to direct it toward people who deserve it. Your capacity for love, care, and emotional connection is still there. It's just not available to people who have proven they can't handle it with care. This is such an important distinction because it shows your growth and maturity. This person who didn't value you is going to realize they lost access to one of the most genuine, caring people they'll ever encounter. The Knight of Cups energy shows that your heart is pure gold, but you've finally learned to be selective about who gets to hold it. They had the privilege of your emotional investment, and they squandered it. And now they get to watch you invest that same beautiful energy in people who treasure it. The emotional lesson they're learning is profound. They're discovering that people with high self-worth don't stick around to be undervalued. They're learning that emotional generosity is a gift that can be withdrawn when it's not appreciated. Most importantly, they're understanding that your kindness wasn't unlimited. It just seemed that way because they never bothered to test the boundaries. I'm seeing them missing the way you used to check in on them, the way you remembered the little things, the way you made them feel special, even when they were taking you for granted. Now that emotional support system is gone, and they're feeling the absence like a constant ache. The 8th card that came through is death. And before anyone panics, this is not about physical death at all. This is about transformation, about the death of old patterns and the birth of new ways of being. This card is so powerful for your situation, Taurus, because it shows that you've literally died to the version of yourself that accepted being undervalued. Death energy is about complete transformation. You can't go back to being the person who made excuses for someone else's poor treatment. You can't return to the version of yourself that prioritized someone else's comfort over your own self-respect. That person is gone, and in their place stands someone who knows their worth and isn't afraid to act on it. This transformation is what's going to shock this person the most. They knew the old you, the one who would always be there, always give another chance, always prioritize the relationship over your own peace. They have no idea how to relate to this new version of you because this version doesn't tolerate disrespect or take crumbs when you deserve the whole meal. The Death card is showing me that this cold shoulder you're giving isn't temporary, it's permanent. This isn't a phase or a mood, it's a fundamental shift in how you operate in relationships. You've killed off the part of yourself that settles for less than you deserve, and there's no resurrection coming for that old pattern. This person is going to go through their own death and rebirth process as they realize the magnitude of their loss. They're going to have to confront the death of their assumption that you'd always be available, the death of their belief that they could treat you poorly without consequences, and the death of their fantasy that they could have you in their life without actually valuing you. The lesson they're learning through this death energy is that some bridges, once burned, stay burned. Some opportunities, once missed, don't come around again. Some people, once they recognize their worth, never go back to accepting less than they deserve. The 9th card is Justice. And this is giving me chills because it's showing me that the cold shoulder you're giving isn't just personal growth. It's cosmic justice in action. Justice is about balance, consequences, and everyone getting exactly what they deserve. This person who didn't value you is about to experience the natural consequences of their choices. Justice reveals that you're not being cruel or vindictive. You're simply allowing the universe to balance itself. They gave you underappreciation, so they receive distance. They gave you inconsistency, so they receive uncertainty about your availability. They gave you taking for granted, so they received the lesson of losing what they had. This card is so powerful because it shows that your high self-worth has put you in alignment with universal law. When you respect yourself, the universe supports that energy and brings consequences to those who disrespected you. You don't have to seek revenge because justice does the work for you. The person who didn't value you is going to realize that there are natural consequences to not appreciating good people. They're going to understand that the universe has a way of teaching lessons to those who take kindness for weakness. Your cold shoulder isn't punishment. It's the natural result of their choices. Justice also reveals that this situation is bringing balance back to your life. For too long, you were giving more than you were receiving, caring more than you were cared for, investing more than was being invested in you. Now that energy is returning to you, and they're feeling the absence of what they never properly valued. The lesson they're learning through justice is that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. They treated you as if you were disposable, so now they get to experience what life feels like without you. They acted as if your care was unlimited, so now they get to discover what it's like when it's completely withdrawn. The final card, the 10th card in this incredible reading, is the Hanged Man, and this is showing me the perspective shift that's happening for both you and this person who didn't value you. The Hanged Man represents seeing things from a completely different angle, gaining wisdom through a period of suspension and reflection. For you, Taurus, the Hanged Man shows that your cold shoulder approach has given you this amazing bird's eye view of the situation. You can see clearly now how much energy you were wasting on someone who didn't appreciate it. You can see the patterns that kept you stuck. You can see your own worth from this new vantage point, and it's beautiful and clear and undeniable. The Hanged Man energy reveals that this period of giving someone the cold shoulder isn't punishment, it's wisdom in action. You've gained this incredible perspective on what healthy relationships look like versus what you were settling for. You can see now that real love doesn't require you to diminish yourself or accept poor treatment. For this person who didn't value you, the Hanged Man represents the uncomfortable suspension they're experiencing. They're hanging in limbo, unable to access you the way they used to, forced to look at the situation from a perspective they've never considered before. They're finally seeing your worth because they're experiencing life without it. This card shows that they're going through their own period of reflection, whether they want to or not. They're suspended between their old assumptions about your availability and the new reality of your boundaries. They're being forced to examine their behavior, their choices, and their patterns in relationships. The Hanged Man reveals that this entire situation is a spiritual lesson for both of you. You're learning your worth, they're learning the consequences of not recognizing worth when it's right in front of them. You're both being transformed by this experience, but in very different ways. The lesson they're learning through the Hanged Man is profound. They're discovering that people who know their value don't hang around to be devalued. They're learning that second chances aren't unlimited, that patience isn't infinite, that even the most caring people have a breaking point. Most importantly, they're learning that some lessons can only be taught through loss. This suspended state they're in is going to last until they truly understand what they had and what they threw away. The Hanged Man doesn't let you down until the lesson is learned, until the perspective is gained, until the wisdom is integrated. They're going to be hanging there, watching you live your life beautifully without them, until they fully comprehend the magnitude of their mistake. So here we are, beautiful Taurus, at the end of this incredible reading, and I have to say, the energy coming through is absolutely extraordinary. These 10 cards have painted such a clear picture of your transformation and the lesson this person is about to learn. You've gone from someone who accepted being undervalued to someone who won't tolerate it for a single moment. Your high self-worth isn't just changing your life. It's teaching everyone around you how to treat people with respect and appreciation. This person who took you for granted is about to get the education of their lifetime, and honestly, it's exactly what they need. Sometimes people don't learn to value what they have until it's gone, and that's precisely what's happening here. The beautiful thing about this entire situation is that you're not being vindictive or cruel. You're simply protecting your peace and honoring your worth. You've realized that your time, energy, and love are precious gifts that should only be given to people who treasure them. The cold shoulder you're giving isn't about making them suffer. It's about making sure you don't suffer anymore. I'm seeing such a bright future for you, Taurus. This transformation you've undergone is going to attract so many beautiful opportunities and relationships into your life. When you know your worth and refuse to settle for less, the universe conspires to bring you exactly what you deserve. Meanwhile, this person who didn't value you gets to sit with the consequences of their choices. The lesson they're learning is one that will stay with them forever. They're going to understand that quality people don't stick around to be treated poorly. They're going to realize that kindness isn't weakness, and that taking someone for granted is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make. Most importantly, they're going to learn that once a Taurus decides they're done, trying to get back in their good graces is nearly impossible. I hope this reading has given you the confirmation you needed about the path you're on. Trust your instincts, Taurus. Trust your worth. Trust that giving someone the cold shoulder when they don't value you isn't mean. It's necessary. You're teaching them a lesson that no one else was willing to teach them. And honestly, that's a gift, even if they can't see it right now. Keep shining in your power. Keep protecting your peace. And keep showing the world what it looks like when someone truly knows their worth. The universe is so proud of you right now, and so am I.